Today, we're going to talk about Sammy the orangutan, who starred in the 1996 film Dunston Checks In. He played the titular character. So, if you're younger and you watched it, you probably enjoyed it. If you're an adult who just watched it, you might be surprised that it's not as bad as what everyone says it is. I'm mind blown by that. But did you know that Dunston was only 5 years old when he was filming that film? Or have you ever wondered how they did that crazy vent scene? Learn all about this and more as we're hoofing it in Hollywood. The birds and the beasts are on the screen. They're the ones that you have seen. You've watched them since childhood as a hoofing it in Hollywood. Welcome everyone to episode 2 of Hoofin' It in Hollywood. I am your host, Paul, and with me I have our co-host, Audrey.
Hello. Sorry, no. Hi. I don't know why I did that.
Jordan.
Hello.
And Melissa.
Hello, Hoofies.
So this is our second episode. We're going to give a quick disclaimer. I know it's a little weird being second episode, but due to the nature of the animal actor being a great ape in this film that we're going to review, there's a lot of ethics surrounding the use of great apes in entertainment. So I'm just teeing that up because we're going to talk about it when we get to the Creature Chronicles section. But I'm now going to turn it over to Jordan to talk about the film Dunston Checks In.
2, 3, 4, 1, 3, 4, fill facts. Do you guys know what this is?
Raspberry.
Orangutan?
It's Dunston, clearly.
The raspberry. You know, Audrey got it right, but you know why it's a raspberry?
No.
Faye Dunaway, supporting actress of this movie, got nominated for a raspberry in the year that it came out. For this movie,
Wait, she got nominated for doing raspberries in 2 different films?
no, there's okay. So let's give a little bit of backstory there. The raspberries are like an anti-Academy Awards. It's just like a kind of a jokey way to tell people that they stunk it up in their movies. It's
like the Razzies.
the Razzies, exactly. You got a Razzie.
No, it's her favorite fruit.
I thought you said a raspberry.
She got nominated for a raspberry in this movie. She didn't get it.
Okay.
So anyway, the movie Dunston Checks In, a family comedy, came out in 1996, directed by Ken Kwapis. This was also written by Bruce Graham and John Hopkins. Dunston Checks In starred Jason Alexander. He plays the dad, Robert Grant. Co-star Faye Dunaway. She plays Mrs. Dubrow in the show. Eric Lloyd. He plays Kyle Grant. And then there's some other cameos throughout the movie, including Paul Rubens and Glenn Shaddix. Okay, so when this movie came out, it didn't get bad reviews, honestly. Like, I thought it had some really, really bad reviews because of the Rotten Tomatoes rating. But when you look at the actual reviews when it came out, it wasn't bad. This movie kind of flopped in the box office. It had a budget of $16 million and only brought in $9.8 million. So they lost a pretty penny making this film. But when it came out on home video, it pulled in a cool $41.6 million. So
Wait, really?
saved by home video. But why it didn't do so good? It did have some competition from other animal movies at the time, which included Ed, the 101 Dalmatians, and finally, how could I go without mentioning Homeward Bound 2, Lost in San Francisco? So let's talk a little bit about what happens in the movie Dunston Checks In. The overall plot, it's a 5-star hotel in New York City that's run by Robert Grant. He's got to get this hotel going because the 5-star system that you know and love for hotels that you've always known is getting a 6th star. And so the owner, Mrs. Dubrow, she works him to death. She never lets him have vacation. And it's clear that his wife has died, so he's raising 2 kids alone. He's neglecting his children. He's kind of mean to his kids. He promised them a vacation. Now the 6-star thing is going to keep them from the vacation. That kind of sets up the dynamic that we see between him and his children. And then there's another main plot with a British guy named Rutledge. And he arrives at the hotel and he's got a big box with him, right? So he's there, he's doing surveillance, which we don't know yet, but he's looking for things to steal. The young boy, Kyle Grant, he kind of notices him. He's always running around the hotel looking at things, so he notices everybody. He first finds this box that's with Rutledge, knocks on it, and he hears a knock back. So he's immediately curious of what's going on there. And we kind of find out that Rutledge is there under the guise of being some noble lord, and he's really just scoping the place out because he wants to plan this big heist. We learn that he's going to use Dunston, an orangutan, to steal valuable jewelry from the place. The first heist scene, he goes into Mrs. Della Croce's room, who is this rich woman that we see walking around. She's the target of Rutledge's first heist. And he sends Dunston down, I think, outside, and he crawls through a window that Rutledge had left open for him, basically. And Dunston's just kind of going in, picking up all the shiny stuff, including a pack of gum, because he's been trained to just go in and get shiny things and get them out. And it also should be said that Rutledge is not very nice to Dunston, right? He threatens him with violence, and Dunston had a brother, we learned, that it sounds like Rutledge might have killed him.
Yeah.
That's what they imply. I think this is a good moment to mention, too, that when he was yelling at Dunston, because I was a little concerned about this at the moment, they did have people on scene, his trainers, who were like reassuring him that everything was okay.
Oh, that's good to know.
That's cool. Randomly throughout the evening or these few days, Dunston has been leaving the motel room when Rutledge goes out because he's a violent guy and Dunston needs some escape. He had seen Kyle, and he just feels like Kyle is a nice, safe space. Finally, Dunston and Kyle basically hook up and they become friends. And the basic premise of it is that Dunston needs to escape Rutledge's violence, and Kyle is a safe person to be around. We also see kind of like that there's a security room. Rutledge hacks into it at one point. He's a hacker.
We talk about that
Yeah.
and how there's like a whole CAD drawing of the hotel, like in depth. Like, what program was he using? What was going on with that?
I don't know.
Also, Audrey later on was like, how can you just search for bananas on a computer and find how
Yeah.
many bananas were delivered to each room?
We had that same exact thought.
He found out which room Dunston was hiding in by hacking the system and finding how many bananas. And he just looked for banana and it said banana cream pie, banana pudding.
Which, by the way, I went down a rabbit hole about orangutan diet because I was like, if he was eating this many bananas and only bananas, wouldn't he get sick? And so I found a husbandry guide from the American Zoo Association. And let it be known that you're also supposed to feed them orangutan biscuits, like primate biscuits.
We got to keep this going. We're not getting. This is a long movie. What? Okay, I want to talk about the older brother Brian a little bit. This character in here was kind of a wiener, right? And giving off like Christian Slater, Heather's vibes, like I got a double in the basement boiler room, kind of like weirdness.
Yeah, he was weird.
But the creepy thing, he goes into the security. He's supposed to be like typical teenage boy, I guess, but he uses the security cameras to spy on girls.
Such a fucking perv.
So yeah, that was creepy. So the vent thing, I also wanted to talk about that because that is how Dunston gets around and how he escaped from the room that he was being kept in was the vents. And he must be staying in the same hotel that John McClane was in because these ventilation systems, you could house somebody in them. They're huge. They're like, I'm like holding my arms out so the people listening can hear it, can see it, but they're huge. So all these crazy things are going on. They don't know that Rutledge is bad. They don't know that there's an actual orangutan in the hotel. Kyle's the only one that knows, of course. So nobody believes him, and he just causes various mischief for the most part. Can we talk about the massage table scene right now?
Oh.
The massage table was just weird. We have Dunston on this woman's back. She thinks he's the masseuse. But then things start to get crazy. She starts to get sexually aroused.
He must have some strong hands.
Can we clarify? She didn't know that he was like when she was getting aroused. She didn't know.
Right. She did not know that she thought it was the masseuse and she was just cheating on her. But we as the audience knew. And so
Yes.
the director chose
Yeah.
to make us watch an ape sexually arouse a woman to the point where when the ape left and the real masseuse came in, she immediately went in to have what we assume is having sex with him.
It looked like he was about to eat out her butt.
Yeah, it was uncomfortable.
Like his face
Yeah.
kept getting down there. I was like, he's gonna lick that dumper.
He's going in.
Dumper.
I actually have a clip from Jennifer Bassi talking about that scene. It was recorded from the locker room back in 2022. If you don't mind, I'll play this for you guys and you can hear her talk about it.
did a nude scene with an orangutan, and no actor in the world can say that but me.
They actually had her nude.
It's a movie called Dunston Checks In, and I'm on a massage table, and I'm saying to this very hunky guy, well, so far it's been a ghastly trip, but Mr. Della Croce didn't come with me, and I grab his arm. He said, I'm going to get that special oil. I said, don't be long. And then this orangutan, whose real name was Sammy, but in the movie it's called Dunston Checks In. Sammy comes running in and jumps on me and goes, oh, I didn't hear you come in. Oh, I like that. And he's giving me a massage.
So she's glad she did a nude scene with an orangutan.
I mean, not many people can say that they've done that.
She seems like she's just down.
Yeah. And so it culminates to the Crystal Ball, which is like the best gala in New York at the time. It's going to earn them the 6 stars.
At one point, Grant does find out that Dunston exists and knows that there's an orangutan in the hotel, and so he actually does call an animal wrangler. This is played by Paul Rubens. The animal wrangler's name is Lafarge.
That's my favorite sequence of scenes in the entire movie. He's just so funny, and he plays it not like Pee Wee Herman. He's kind of playing like a super macho, super straight type character.
He was kind of hot. Like he had a really good look.
He had a good look, yeah. I don't know if I found him attractive, but
yeah, I don't think I used the word hot, but you know, he's someone's cup of tea, I guess. Paul's.
It's cool though, yeah. He's Paul's cup of tea.
He's Paul's, yeah.
Everyone's got different bananas.
During the Crystal Ball, not only do you have Lafarge still chasing Dunston around, causing all sorts of mischief, but also you have Rutledge, who wants to get Dunston back under his control, and then you have Grant, who's trying to win the entire 6th star for his hotel. All of these things are going on, but all of a sudden he has to start fighting Rutledge off. Rutledge is defeated. Dunston escaped Lafarge. Dunston is swinging from a chandelier, and he pushes Mrs. Dubrow into the cake, ruining the big cake, ruining the Crystal Ball. They don't get their 6th star.
Robert Grant, he quits his job at the hotel because he realizes that he's been neglecting his kids. They're growing up without a dad. They need some time. So he immediately takes another job in Bali, which is kind of cool because I guess his kids are on constant vacation, but then he's got his kids working with him at the hotel at the end. So did he really learn, or is poor Kyle still just lonely and neglected in Bali? That was the movie, you guys. I don't know why it didn't make that much at the box office. It seemed like it was decent, probably because those other movies, some other big movies came out. It just wasn't a blockbuster, but it wasn't a bad movie. It kept me laughing. It was lighthearted. Some funny stuff for the kids, some funny stuff for the parents. Paul Rubens gave an amazing performance.
My little brother was obsessed with this movie as a kid.
This was my first time seeing it. So did you watch it a lot when you were a kid?
Only because Sam would watch it, but even though I know that I've seen it quite a few times, I didn't remember a whole lot about it. Like, I remembered pieces, but I don't know, definitely not the whole thing. I was surprised by a lot.
My memory of it is just Audrey had some weird association with it, like the entire time I've known you. I just remember Dunston was a milestone in your life, and I guess I never knew why. But yeah, after watching it last night, though, I would say it was a lot funner than I thought it was gonna be, and I think the only bummer thing was the overweight jokes that they said in that film. That, and it felt like a product of every 90s film smashed into one.
Mm-hmm. We had some Home Alone moments in there.
You had
for sure.
The hot kid everyone wanted to be, the fun kid with the monkey and the ape, the sex jokes for the parents. It was a shotgun blast.
Yeah, I agree with you, Paul. I definitely watched it growing up. It wasn't one that I watched all the time. So even for me going back and watching it last night, I, like you said, Audrey, forgot a lot of what happened in it. And I still think it was pretty enjoyable even watching it as a 37-year-old.
Can I show you guys something funny? I was going to put this in movie magic, but I think now is the right time to talk about it since Paul brought up the jokes about people's size. Did you all notice the one guy, he had the small dog and he was just a larger guy?
Okay, so Lionel,
that was his name. So when he was in the scene, like doing the gym stuff, there was a stunt where he fell over. And I was like, well, that looks weird. And so I paused it, and look what they did to make the stuntman. It's like they looked at the stuntman and they were like, well, that man doesn't look fat. And look, oh my God, you guys, wait till you see this. Okay, so this is him after where it's actually the actor, right?
Okay.
And here we go. This is the stuntman. Did they just put a beach ball in
a box?
It has a corner.
Yeah, like
Yeah,
what?
it has corn. It looks like a box.
So
dude.
like after he flipped over, it moves too when he lands, and I was like, what the hell is that? Like, that's not what that man looks
Wow.
like. So I paused it.
It looks like a small pirate chest, a treasure chest.
Like a package came on set, and they're like, just use that. Put it under your
Just throw
shirt.
it onto your sweatshirt.
I hated all the stupid jokes where like something would happen that Dunstan did, and they'd be like, "Oh, was that a loofah?"
Yeah.
Or the one
Yep.
lady is like, he rubbed his stinky armpit. She's like, "Oh, are you wearing musk?" And I'm just,
Yeah.
ew, it's gross. Those jokes were really dumb. I know they were for the kids, but they were gross.
Do you have anything else, Jordan?
That's all I got.
All right. We're now going to talk about the animal history. What's that? It's Creature Chronicles. Okay, so I'm going to talk about the history of Sammy. First of all, I'm probably going to mispronounce orangutan. I Googled how to pronounce it, and my brain is still trying to make me pronounce it the other way. Before I get into Sammy's history, I want to talk a little bit about orangutans, just so you know the lay of the land. They're part of the great ape family. They're actually critically endangered. There's an estimated 60,000 still left in the world. They are native to Malaysia and Indonesia. They reach heights of about 4 to 5 feet when they grow into adulthood, and they can weigh up to 250 pounds, the males especially. And they're also really solitary creatures, like they don't interact that much. The reason I bring all this up is because I just want you to have it in the back of your head while we're talking about Dunstan's journey. Because when filming, it goes against a lot of what orangutans are used to. But that's what happens to a lot of these creatures. So starting with Sammy's history, he was born in 1989 in Miami, Florida. He was used as a tourist attraction, which is kind of, yeah, sad. He did share a room with Jerry, who was a female orangutan. And I bring her up because she's an actress too. And the two of them travel a lot together. She's his lifelong companion. And I think they shared the spotlight quite a bit when they were younger.
That's cool.
When he was 18 months old, so just a juvenile, he was shipped to an LA trainer for acting. So he got a gig. Jerry went with him. And they did a lot of work in TV and in commercials. They actually had a couple episodes of Baywatch that they were on, which was cool. In around 1994, 1995, he landed the most famous gig of his career, Dunston Checks In. And at this time, Dunstan's 5 years old. He does training for about 2 years before they actually start filming the film. And by all accounts I could find, he was awesome. There was an interview from Army Archhead from Variety. He was watching a scene of Dunstan act. It was actually that scene where he was breaking into the room and stealing the chapos. He was actually on set watching that, and the director said, this is what Dunstan's going to do. And then Dunstan did all of that. Like, he nailed it.
It kind of blew my mind. I mean, I'd seen Apes act in other movies, I guess. It's not something I have seen a lot of, I guess, now that I think about it. But his acting in there was just kind of crazy. Like, he did a lot of different things, and he had a very expressive face, and he just looked super adorable doing it all too. But he was just wild.
I feel like he stitched the whole film together. Like, if he would have sucked as an actor, like, that movie would have sucked.
Yeah.
All right, so getting back to his performance, the kid who played Kyle, Eric Lloyd, he was quoted as saying that he liked to wrestle and roll around with Dunstan. Dunstan would chase him around. Dunstan would jump on him sometimes, and he would try to lift him up, but he was really heavy.
Aww. So I was actually wondering about the closeness of the child actor to the ape in some of the scenes, because They were very close, right? They were like really close together. It seemed very hands-on. Like,
Well, funny you say that. I tracked down this photo of Eric Lloyd with Dunston sitting around a pile of Dunston Checks In merchandise. So this is from like a press tour, basically.
oh wow.
They were besties. Look how cute.
Yeah. All right, we'll actually include that image in the show notes so you can all take a look at it. The one thing that really caught me off guard about Dunston's performance is I didn't realize that Dunston actually had a voice actor for his portion in the film. I'm not judging the actual actor, but do you think he sounded like what you think an orangutan would be?
Yeah.
Let's listen to what some of these orangutans sound like. So this one is going to be an adult.
Why do they sound like cicadas?
Sounds like a fart to me.
Okay, so we weren't that far off. Oh, look at that.
They sound like, okay, so they either sound like a whale or like a cicada.
Yeah, and again, that was like a full-grown one, so maybe the 5-year-olds that, Dunstan was, do they sound a little?
I couldn't find a 5-year-old, but I could find...
Did you find a juvenile?
Yes.
Oh, little baby.
That was closer.
Let's hear what our bro did on the film.
Oh yeah.
Oh, he like laughed like a person laughed.
Okay, so obviously, yeah, an ape wouldn't laugh.
So after Dunston Checks In, Dunston had a few other films that he ended up working on. Can you guys guess what films he worked on afterwards? He was in 2 major films.
Baywatch. I have no freaking clue.
Oh no. Big Daddy.
I'm not allowed to guess because I know one of them. Because I looked it up.
The 2001 remake of Planet of the Apes.
Okay.
Yes. And then, Melissa, was that the movie that you knew? Or did you have another one?
No, the other one I read that he was in was the Flintstones movie.
Viva Rock Vegas.
Oh, I completely forgot about that movie.
I actually read, wasn't it him and Jerry? So it was him
Yeah.
and his woman.
Yeah. So after those 2 films, Dunston ended up having to retire. The reason for that is because orangutans, once they get to adolescence, they become too strong and too heavy. It becomes a danger on set. And this is where it starts to get sad again, because he was retired to a small cage with the breeder and trainer Bob Dunn. So while he was in that cage with Jerry, they ended up having a kid. His name was Jam. And then in 2004, Bob Dunn decided that he was just getting out of the game altogether, and he ended up donating them to the Center for the Great Apes in Wakulla, Florida.
Oh, so that's not a... I was thinking you were going to give us a bad ending, but that seems like a pretty decent ending. At least if it's like a good center.
Considering, yeah.
A decent center. The cage thing is sad, but what is also sad is Jam was sent 4 months later, and there was enough distance between them being separated that there was kind of territorial issues between the 2 of them. So
that is kind of sad.
Dunston didn't want to share Jerry with Jam. That's a really weird sentence. And Jam apparently was frightened by Dunston's cheek pads because they were big. So Jerry just had to split her time between the 2 of them. So, I mean, it doesn't sound like it was terrible, but...
Sounds pretty in line with orangutan biology, I think.
Yeah.
Like, I think the males typically are a little bit more solitary and like are territorial.
Yeah. So in 2010, Dunston ended up passing away of heart failure in his sleep. It looked like it was peaceful, so...
Do you think it's because they gave him too many fucking bananas?
Oh no.
How many bananas do you think he actually ate over his
I
lifetime?
don't know, man.
There is a thing where they were saying that orangutans in captivity were actually like 50 to 100 pounds heavier because they had unlimited access to good food. So they were eating so much. So maybe there is something.
No, this is why the American Zoo Association guide says, like, you can't, you're supposed to give them like a certain amount of like the healthy biscuits and then fruit so that they can't fill up on only fruit because they will.
Yeah. Well, Dunston also did have one interesting quirk that was like exclusive only to him. Can you guys guess what that quirk is?
He liked to sing.
He hated bare feet. So whenever he would see guests with bare feet, he would kind of like run at them in the enclosure.
What? Kind of like me when I see bare
Yeah.
feet. Like, ugh, get them out of here.
He would spit at their feet too. Like,
Huh.
yeah, he doesn't like bare feet.
Get those grippers out of here.
Do they know why?
I think it's just, sometimes you see a set of grippers and you don't want to.
He said grippers.
So I said, yeah, get the grippers out of here. We don't want to see them.
Yeah, dude. So I think it was just one of those things like, sometimes animals have like weird things. And his son actually ended up picking up that quirk too, but he really likes feet. So he's all about
I
like,
was gonna
Oh,
say, I
wow.
thought I read that Jam
Yeah.
liked feet and corn on the cob, which I mean,
Oh,
yeah, corn on the cob. And then Jerry, just to kind of round it out, she was a thoughtful problem solver. So she loves examining how things are putting together.
sounds like a good mom.
The sad thing is Dunston's life mirrors a lot of what happens with orangutans or great apes used in entertainment. It's not very awesome. And I'm going to toss it over to Audrey to talk a little bit more about the controversy of using great apes in entertainment.
So basically, the ethical questions of having great apes act, which the great apes, we're talking like chimps, gorillas, orangutans, humans. So the ethical questions are from the perspective of the individual and of like orangutans as a whole. So from an individual animal perspective, great apes in acting often get there because poachers kill their families and then they sell the meat as bush meat, and then they take the babies and traffic them to be pets or in sideshows or actors, whatever. They often get retired around the age that they would have left their mothers in the wild. So like the whole time that Dunston was acting, he would have been with his mother in the wild, but he wasn't. He was taken. So I was going to ask you to guess why they retire them at 7, but Paul actually already talked about this, which is that they get too big and strong and you can't control them. And let me just say, if it doesn't want to be on the set and can't be controlled, maybe that's a sign that they shouldn't have been on the set when they were small enough to be controlled.
once it knows that, like, I don't like this. Why am I doing
Yeah.
this? Yeah.
Yeah. And like maybe they get more aggressive with puberty and stuff. I don't know. But like either way, it's just like. So then, because the babies spend their whole childhood mostly in isolation from adult apes and in cages and stuff, they can't be released into the wild because it's just, they can't be rehabilitated that way. And finally, there's a history of inhumane treatment on set, which is actually something that Bob Barker and others brought attention to in the 1980s. And PETA started a big campaign against using them in entertainment and had some success. And then in 2015, they had a lot more success. And I'll put the links in the show notes to what changes happened in 2015. And then from a whole species perspective, multiple researchers have found that when people see apes, like chimps and stuff in films with people, they don't think of them as endangered or at risk anymore. And they may like see them as being a fun pet.
Yeah, they're having a good time on screen,
Yep.
Well, yeah, you mentioned that. And at the end of the movie, we see that they have pretty much adopted Dunston, right? Didn't they? They took him to Bali with them. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
it was like, can we keep him? And the movie made a point to drive it home that it was a pet and that it wasn't anything more than that, and that they didn't say anything really about it being endangered.
Yeah. After reading all this, we were moved to suggest a couple of places that seem reliable. Looked them up on Charity Navigator that support orangutan conservation, including the place where Dunston went. So you can check those out on the episode webpage.
All right, Audrey, do you have anything else to talk about?
No, sironi. No, sorry. No, sir.
Well, I don't have anything else myself, so I'm going to go ahead and turn it back over to you for your movie magic.
Get ready for movie magic.
Okay, So I'd like to say that this information came from American Humane, which is the humanehollywood.org. The reason I'm saying that is because last time I brought them up, but I didn't do a very good job saying who they were, so I wanted to cover that. This is the place that puts out the No Animals Were Harmed end credit certification. So to earn that, there's like they have to be involved in pre-production through post-production. They keep the animals safe, and they basically document how things are done and share it on their website.
I always thought that was just a thing they put in the end of a movie, like no animals were harmed.
I did too.
But that's cool to know that you have to earn that.
So anyway, that's really cool. So the movie magic in Dunston Checks In will be familiar if you tuned into last episode. Lots of clever cuts and uses of perspective, using food to train and control, and using fake animals. So the quick and easy thing is that pretty much everything Dunston did, he was trained to do, and food was used as a reward. So he, the raspberries, the kisses, doing whatever he did, he was trained to do those things.
Was it banana splits they used to get him to do that?
I would love to know, and I tried to find out if it was bananas, and I do not know.
It's probably bananas.
But I want to play a real or fake little game right now. So can you guys guess any of the scenes where Dunston was animatronic or stuffed? And we're going to do like a lightning round of real or fake. So I'll like give you the scene and you tell me.
There were scenes where it was animatronic.
Yes.
I was fooled the entire time.
Same.
Yeah. So, first question. When Jason Alexander runs around with Dunston on his back, real or fake?
Fake.
Real.
Real.
Real. The trainer carefully put him on Jason Alexander's back.
Oh,
wow.
A fucking orangutan.
He's probably talked about that somewhere. We need to dig that clip up.
That's what I was like. He has to, right? Laundry chute scene, real or animatronic or stuffed?
Real.
When he fell into the laundry chute? Real.
I'm saying animatronic.
Combination. We'll go more into that later.
Whoa.
So it was sometimes real, sometimes not. Okay. When Pee-wee was shooting darts at him on the chandelier.
Oh, I think real.
Fake.
Oh, really? You think fake?
Even though I thought it was real last night.
I say real.
I'm saying stuffed.
Kind of a trick question because he really did swing on the lights. They were like low heat lights. But whenever the darts were being shot, it was stuffed.
Oh.
I thought you were going to say there was no scene where he was on a chandelier. I'm like, whoa.
That's two questions that were trick questions, Audrey. What are you doing?
Listen, I'm doing what I can. When Dunston slams into the kid in the laundry chute, real or fake?
Fake.
Real.
Real.
Real Dunston, fake kid.
Wait, nuh-uh.
Was it like a My Buddy doll?
Animatronic kid.
It was a mannequin.
Seriously?
When he fell on him, like the scene where he like falls on him. Just
I had
that
no
part.
idea.
When the lady is in the cake and Dunston falls on her, real or fake?
I don't even know anymore.
Yeah, I know. It was like fake.
I feel like he looked real, so I'm going to go with real.
He was real. The fall itself was stuffed. Like they fall, stuff, cut. And then the trainer gently placed Dunston on the woman's chest in the cake.
They gently placed Dunston in a lot of places.
They sure did. Okay, so thank you for playing the lightning round of real or fake. So general info again, Sammy was trained to do a lot of things. He was rewarded with food. And then I pulled a couple interesting scenes that we could talk about. One of them was when he was climbing up the pole to the window. If you remember, he goes out and he has to like climb up the side of the building to get to a window to break in to steal stuff. My favorite fun fact about this is that, so there was a stunt mat under the pole that he was climbing, and he also had a safety harness on with a safety cable that was attached to the second story window, which I like. Obviously, it's great that they're keeping him safe, but also orangutans are arboreal, meaning they live in the trees like for weeks at a time. The fact that they put
there's one thing that could do it, yeah.
That was that one, and then the laundry chute scene, the one I was most excited about, and it delivered because it's really interesting how they did it. So, Part of it is obvious where he like drops down. It was just a 3 feet deep pit with mats at the bottom. But then the laundry chute. So for the listeners out there, here's what happens. In the scene, Dunston and the little kid are like hugging each other, falling down a giant laundry chute in the building.
Like free falling.
Like free falling. So how did they do it? They built a 3-sided structure that was meant to look like a laundry chute, horizontally along the ground, so like laying on the ground. It was 80 feet long, so that's the length of a tennis court, for the record. They built a tennis court long horizontal chute. And then 4 feet above the ground, they had a sled that was on a track. So it was a sled that had 2 levels. And on the top level, they had the kid laying down, facing down, and they had Dunston on the bottom level, facing up.
Whoa.
And then they, like, around the chute somehow, I guess, made it look like around the sled, like they were hugging each other. And so then the sled would be moved along the track as they were filming. So they were...
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And then the camera was set up on a dolly that moved in front of the track with the trainer following close to the animal's side. And this is my favorite
crazy part. For this one shot.
Yeah.
I know. Right? And that's why it cost, what'd you say, $19 million or something?
16.
$16 million.
There's the whole budget right there.
So my favorite fun fact about this is that, the final portion, so when they were going like really fast down the chute,
right.
Don't worry, they used an animatronic orangutan for that part. But they used the real kid.
They watched him.
Right? They're like, fuck that kid. We don't care what happens to him.
Hold on to this robot while we watch you on the sled.
That's exactly what
I wonder how many times they had to make it go through that. Like, how many times did he go back and forward? That would have been really hot. I could have.
The kid's just like, what the fuck is going
on? So that was the laundry chute scene. Okay, so then the final thing is just, there were also a lot of other things in the movie. There were some fish in a tank in the background. I guess they were kept safe. Dog jumping off of the roof.
Oh, you mean the dog committing suicide off the roof?
Anyway, so when it jumped off the roof, they used cuts. And my favorite part about this is I feel like they're, again, made it way too complicated. They made a plank-like platform that was 5 foot long, 2.5 feet high. So they basically gave him like a diving board or something, I don't know, and built for the dog. And then he ran on the platform and jumped off to land on the ground. And they used a green screen to make it look like it was a building.
He went straight for the edge. It was pretty hilarious looking.
It did actually. I will say that it paid off because it did look convincing. Okay, that's all I had for movie magic.
I will now turn it over to Melissa to talk about some fun stuff.
All aboard for audience anecdotes.
I was just sniffing the microphone. Okay. I don't know what's happening. It's animal review time. So I was thinking for this section, using a banana as the rating scale is the way to go. So we're going to say, out of 5 bananas, what did you guys think of Sammy's performance?
Oh my God. 5 bananas. All 5. Big bananas.
What noise does a banana make?
Peel, banana, peel, banana. That's all.
Wait, for each banana, do we have to say that? Peel, banana, peel, banana, peel, banana, peel, banana,
banana.
5
That's
bananas.
how many bananas. 5 bananas.
Or more. 5 out of 7.
Agreed.
Perfect performance from Dunston. Even though it may have been under duress, as Audrey pointed out in the saddest segment we'll ever have on this show, it was a good performance, and I smiled really, really smiley.
I smiled really smiley.
I totally agree, man. Like 5.
That's it. That's what we could have done.
Hey, I like my banana rating scale, but I guess we could go with.
I like the bananas too.
Bananas for scale is always better.
Right?
Well, to be fair, I think that's the noise a banana would make if you stepped on it. It would go. So it's kind of both.
Yeah.
No, it would go whoa, because that's you falling when you step on the banana.
That's not what the banana would make.
But the
Whoa. Five slips on a banana.
5 slips on a banana. Perfect.
But yeah, I think like he when we talk about animal actors like this, he brought it, dude.
You nailed it.
He showed so much emotion, and he was killer with his. I mean, I don't know. It always seemed like it was him on screen, and I was like, that's a fucking rad ass orangutan.
Can't be beat.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he was great.
Yeah, he gets 5 full ass bananas from me. Big ol'
Full-ass
honkin'
banana.
bananas. Yeah, no, I definitely am giving him 5 bananas. Like you said, Paul, his acting, his expressions were amazing. It was all in, his eyes. He just
Yeah.
had the eyes to where like you knew exactly what he was thinking and feeling. And I just pretty much wanted to be his best friend, and I wanted to go on adventures with him because he made me that happy. So yeah.
Same. 5 bananas all the way.
I was also going to say that along with his expressions, I just felt like his chemistry with Kyle seemed legit. And again, I know he was acting, but you could really feel it. And I feel like even so much that, they kind of bordered on kissing a couple of times in the movie. They were about
seemed
to
very
make out,
gentle
but
too.
Yeah, gentle.
You guys are
kisses.
slamming me all night about weird monkey business, and Melissa's here talking about this kid making out with this.
We just let it go, and
Hey, I think Kyle really did kiss him on the lips at one time, though.
I think so too. But it was like a kiss, like a parental kiss or like a friendly kiss.
Yeah, you kiss your parents on the lips,
Do you though? Do you, Paul?
like every day, dude. Like,
Oh my god. Moving on to audience reviews, I primarily stuck to RottenTomatoes.com, which I don't know. I found some pretty good ones. The very first review, which was from October of 2022, by a Virginia A, said, "One of the best films ever. Sam the orangutan is a legend. Big fan of Pongo Pygmaeus. Must watch."
Oh my god.
Virginia gave it 5 stars. And that review prompted me to talk about the best part of the movie, the part with the guy at the table during the crystal ball, and he says, "I catch you looking at my wife's Pongo Pygmaeus once more, I'ma break you in half."
I catch you looking at my wife's Pongo Pygmaeus once more, I'm gonna break you in half.
Pongo Pygmaeus. Okay. Or Pygmaeus, sorry. Loved that review. Moving on to the next review. This one's a little older, from July of 2019. There was no name with it, but it was a 5-star. Said, "Dunston accomplishes checking into 2 places: the beautiful, majestic hotel and your heart."
yes, yeah,
I love it. Absolutely love it.
Yeah, that's a great review.
And he'll never check
He
out.
checked into your heart.
Checked it in my heart.
He checked into my heart.
All right, so now for everybody's favorite part of my section, the surprise scenario. So I've got this one for you guys. If you owned a hotel, what job would you give to Dunston and why? Take a minute to think about it.
You gotta put him to work.
I guess I can give you guys my answer first. I don't want to influence you, but my pick would have to be probably spa manager. I mean, when he was on top of Mrs. Was it Delacroce? Crochet? Something?
Delacroce.
I mean, he must have did a good job because she thoroughly enjoyed herself. So I think he'd be qualified to be a spa manager.
I'm going to play off yours, and I would have him be a cabana boy. And he would be the hot young stud in the sauna that is there to get them ladies turned on.
What kind of hotel is
you guys? This is He is an orangutan.
And Paul.
Yeah, dude, and he's
He's
good at getting the fire going, and so I would use that to my
he's
advantage.
not.
We literally saw a scene where he did the job. He nailed it. That was his
Oh, boy.
audition.
Paul and Melissa.
You guys.
Animal.
I'm taking
sex.
what's given in front of me, all right?
I just would have him like dust the ceilings and stuff because he would be really good at like.
See,
could,
yeah, I was
he
going.
He probably would want to be off of the ground, first of all, and secondly, he'd be fucking good at it.
Yeah, I was thinking like window washer for the outside window. He would love it. He would get to see all the guests.
That's where he would really shine. Yeah, so.
I think I'm going with the window washer thing.
Okay.
I thought maybe I wanted to go some other besides like what he'd really be like flexing at, but I think he'd be really good on the outside of that building.
Now we have adopt, take to the no-kill shelter, or taxidermy.
I'm going to say take to the no-kill shelter, and it's going to be a beautiful conservation forest where he just gets to go live.
Oh, I love that.
Wait, whoa, are we just doing Sammy?
Oh, yeah, sorry, just Sammy since he's the one.
Wait, we can't do the dog.
So not the kid?
Yeah, Sammy, the kid, and like the dog.
Sure. If you guys want, go for it.
Okay, so wait, it's the kid, it's Dunston, and it's the dog.
We're doing the kid. Okay, Kyle.
We're doing Kyle.
Okay, I'll adopt Kyle. Sending Dunston to the no-kill shelter, which is a beautiful forest that he will get to go live in, and I'll taxidermy the dog.
I will taxidermy Kyle.
Jesus.
Oh, no.
Because when am I ever going to be able to taxidermy a kid like free of charge in the future? Like, so I'm going to taxidermy
no
Kyle.
Repercussion.
Yeah, right. Like this is my one opportunity to get that. So I'm going to take it, and then I will put Dunston in a no-kill shelter. So then I guess that means I would adopt the dog.
You guys are so nice for both taking Dunston to where he belongs. I'm adopting Dunston.
I'm there, right there with you, Jordan.
You can't do that.
This is a fantasy, Paul. Okay.
If I get my kid, you can have your Dunston.
You're not going to taxidermy a kid. You're not going to taxidermy a kid in real life. I can't say that I'm taking Dunston. He's cute and he does things and he'd be my buddy. I'm taking Dunston. But then I have to like take the kid or taxidermy. Taking the kid to the no-kill shelter. I'm just replacing that with like adoption agent. And then I'm taxidermying or deal. Oh, and can we choose a method of taxidermy? Because when I was a kid, I saw a thing about freeze drying your pets, and I freeze dry deal.
I'm gonna freeze dry that kid.
It was a thing. It was like on Dateline when I was a kid. I don't remember, but people freeze dried this golden retriever. And we watched it as a family and laughed about it.
Is that legal?
It totally is. It had to be. I mean, it was just another method of taxidermy and not stuffing. But I would freeze dry Neil. I would take Kyle to the vet shelter, and I would keep beautiful, amazing Dunston.
What if you could?
Oh no.
5 freeze-dried orangutans.
What if you could buy bags of freeze-dried golden retriever chips?
Yeah, no, because we feed our son freeze-dried strawberries.
You
so like,
don't shatter them after you freeze.
Could you break
like
off
Terminator
a piece
where
and
it's
eat
like
them?
liquid nitrogen freeze dry?
Is it like Star Wars, like where he's frozen in?
It's not carbonite. It looks just like a normal dog, you guys. Its fur is there. It just looks normal.
So what is
it's poorly dried so it doesn't rot.
Can we change the questions to no-kill shelter, adopt, and carbonite?
I mean, if we want to change up taxidermy to freeze dry. So I feel like this shows that, I don't know, it's either a good or bad thing that I picked the same exact things as you, Jordan. Go figure. I would adopt Dunston. Again, this being a fantasy word, you know.
I hope the cats like him.
Oh, they better, because we're going on adventures. We're gonna be besties. He's gonna give me massages when I want them, then I won't have to pay for them every month like I do. I'll pay him in bananas, even better. I'll just give him a whole bunch of bananas and we'll be good to go. But yeah, then I would take the kid Kyle to the no-kill shelter and taxidermy the dog. So there you go.
Thank you, Melissa. Do you have anything else?
I think that's it.
All right, well, that wraps up our episode. Thank you, everyone, for sticking around to listen. And if you stick around with us next month, we'll be covering Sin the Cat in the 1965 film That Darn Cat.
Oh, is that what we're doing?
Oh,
For sure?
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Ooh.
If you enjoyed this show, make sure that you like, subscribe, or leave a review. And then if you want to learn about anything that we talked about, please check out our show notes. We have a very extensive list of links, a lot of fun kind of bonus content in there as well, especially if you checked out the transcripts on our website, bit.ly/Hoofin-Hollywood. Yeah, so thank you everyone for hanging out with me. I appreciate it. Audrey, Melissa, Jordan, I'll see you next time.
Bye. Bye.
Bye. Goodbye. Bye. Thank you for listening to Hoofin' It in Hollywood. This podcast has been produced by Paul, Audrey, Melissa, and Jordan. Please note that this content is intended for entertainment purposes only. We are not professional researchers, and the views and opinions expressed are our own. For more information and links to the resources mentioned in this episode, please check the show notes or visit our website at bit.ly/Hoofin-Hollywood. If you found this episode enjoyable and wish to support the podcast, we kindly ask you to like, subscribe, and leave a rating or review on your preferred podcast platform.